Hello and welcome to episode 28 of Inherited Will, a One Piece podcast, a weekly podcast discussing each week's manga chapter and a reread of past chapters. My name is Thomas.
And I am Jordan.
That's Jordan. We'll be jumping right on into chapter 1025, then later 313 through 322. I hope you appreciated me reintroducing you after you did it yourself.
I did. We got a fun little cover page here. There's a lot going on, but personally, the main thing for me is that his hat's Jolly Roger also has a long nose.
Well, of course it does. It wouldn't be Usopp if his stuff wasn't specifically branded for himself.
Exactly. He's got to tailor it himself, and I respect that.
I really appreciate just how confidently he is telling the story of grandeur, the tales of Usopp, but right from the start, the title page written by this octopus man is Big Liar Story. So, didn't believe it from the start.
Usopp's in his element, though.
I also like that because of all the arms involved. The octopus reporter can use the typewriter and also read a book at the same time.
That's incredible multitasking, really.
Yeah. Sometimes I wish I were an octopus. Might happen one day. But all right, chapter 1025, Twin Dragons. Let's find out what that's about, shall we?
Yeah, I'm on pins and needles here.
Quite so. We start off with Luffy loudly berating poor, grown-up Momonosuke for still being a whiny baby who's afraid of heights, even after having his body grown to a great size.
So silly that his head is lower than other parts of his body, but still too much.
Indeed. If he lifts his head even a little bit, that's too high.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta take it easy. Gotta ease into this new height. Sucks for him, though. They're in a rush. Got things to do. Meanwhile, Law's crew just gazes on, not sure what they can add to this scenario.
Yeah, pretty stone-faced here. Respect, though. That's one of the most powerful people they've ever seen, and suddenly a dragon that is as big as Kaido. Like, that's a pretty unique situation they find themselves in.
No doubt it's been a long day for the second fiddles of Law's crew.
Yeah.
It's rough being them. Even though, by all rights, John Bart should be on the main island, but just isn't for some reason. Oh well.
Can't be, man.
I guess so. He was very necessary for this scenario.
Oh, yeah. And for driving the submarine?
That's true. Only he can do it. Gotta have big hands to do that. Then we pop on up back to the skull top, where we appear to be seeing the immediate aftermath of that big old clash Yamato and Kaido had at the end of the previous chapter. Seems Yamato managed to draw a little bit of blood.
Pretty impressive. Also, Mirror Mountain, pretty cool move. Even if it's just, like, defensive. I'm into it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Seems that he made, like, a ice clone, like an ice shell around himself, and then burst out of it.
A carapace.
Yeah, that's my best guess. Kaido's impressed, and so am I.
Yeah, he can't do that with his powers as far as we know, so, like...
1 point for Yamato.
Yeah.
2 points if you count the drawing blood immediately before.
True.
I think Yamato's on top in terms of points now. Having burst from the carapace of ice, winds up a big old club smack called the Hollow Glacier Slash for some reason. There's no blades involved, but I suppose it's a slash.
Well,
if he says it, it must be so.
From the way that I'm seeing this, I feel like Yamato actually, like, charges up the spinning mace thing and then kind of almost throws it, and then the Hollowed Glacier Slash, they're going in barehanded? Because I don't see the club. Unless, I assume the club in the panel with the Hollowed Glacier Slash was Kaido's because of the, like, bigger spikes on it. So considering I don't see the smaller one, I had thought that she threw it.
Yeah, that's definitely Kaido's club that we see there. Because Only his has spikes. You see in the following page,
Right.
they're more like nubs.
Exactly.
So yeah, I think you're right. I think it is a claw slash attack and not a club smack. I'm sorry, Yamato. Forgive me.
Just wanted to clarify that because I was confused at first too, but then that made the most sense to me.
Forgive my foolishness, Yamato. Pounds Kaido's head into the dirt, though. That feels good.
Real good for him, I'm sure. Yamato, not Kaido.
Quite so. In classic Kaido style, though, it gets right on back up, says some unkind things once again. Can't escape your bloodline. No matter what, you're still my son. And all the samurai are still going to hate you because of that, regardless of how much you fight for them. Not cool.
Like we
Not
said,
nice.
top tier father right there.
Quite so. And because of it, takes a smack right to the mouth. Wapa, says Yamato. Along with shut up, that doesn't matter, but mostly the wapa.
Classic child-father interaction.
Quite so. My daughter and I go through this every single day, 100%.
I've heard it.
Indeed. After taking that smack to the face, Kaido has some more words. You've been living alone for all this time, going around, crawling through attics, alone, to which Yamato responds, no, I do have friends.
And she thinks of 2 people.
Indeed. All of whom are dead, so
Yep.
That's not great.
Yep.
Quick shot of Ace there, smiling as ever. Then we get another flashback of another person, presumably just a goon of Kaido's, who showed a little bit of kindness to Yamato in the past, gave her food and a blanket. And got executed for it. Not good.
Pretty gruesomely. It looks like 5 swords sticking out of that person. Pretty awful.
This is why you don't help Yamato, no matter the circumstances. You will end up dead. Kaido's got to set that example.
Yeah, sorry, Luffy.
Yeah, pretty much. Then Kaido sets to getting some payback for the blows he's been taking. Lands quite a few of them in quick succession. Knocks Yamato to the ground, keeps smacking. Talking some smack on friendship itself for a little bit.
Yeah, pretty pointed stuff there. I wonder what happened to Kaido in his past that forced him to feel so strongly about this.
Right? I mean, if he's forcing this ideology onto his own child, then it's got to have hit pretty close to home. But what I think is most fascinating about this is Kaido speaks of them as though they're like actual ogres.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too.
So perhaps it's like a Chopper type scenario where he is indeed literally an ogre that tried to integrate into human society in his youth, but they rejected him. Then he maybe found solace in like the strength-based hierarchy I assume the Rocks Pirates probably had.
Could also be like a well, it does say child of ogres. I was gonna say maybe not full on ogre, but I don't know. Ogres makes me kind of question that thought line.
Indeed. I'd like to know if it was plural in the original Japanese version or if they just kind of added that in.
Also, he could be talking about like generations past as opposed to
That's true.
whatever Kaido and mother of Yamato that we don't know about.
Indeed. Wonder if we'll ever get some details there.
Yeah. But instead we get Kaido looking the scariest I've ever seen him in that bottom left corner talking about fate.
Yeah, quite monstrous.
Yeah. I feel like some people below him probably just passed out from a wave of Conqueror's Haki type deal. Like, this dude is going ham.
Quite so. Speaking of going ham, though, we turn the page, and fortunately for our boys, Momonosuke has indeed managed to take flight. Hooray, says everybody, except for Shinobu, who is stone-faced as ever.
Still the same face. I love it.
Quite so. They made their way above Onigashima. But oh no, how can I fly with my eyes open, says Momonosuke, and just kind of goes for it, crashing through the skull into the performance floor well below, shocking everybody. There's a lot of people on that floor, and they're all surprised.
Yeah, I would imagine it's quite a scene. Nobody had any idea this could have happened. Like,
Indeed.
whew.
I'm impressed that most of the important people seem to have immediately realized that there's no way that is Kaido. Queen says a different dragon. No one down in that bottom, reaction line there indicates that they think it might be Kaido.
Yeah, there's a what is that thing? Like, no mention of Kaido at all. Pretty good. Everyone else, for some reason, thinks Kaido got sunburned.
It could happen in the middle of the night. The moon, man. Gotta watch out. Make sure you're wearing your nighttime sunscreen.
Yeah, it turns out Sabo's around and he just created the sun.
Could be. I think it is fortunate for the Alliance's odds that Luffy has basically zoomed past everybody involved here. Because last they heard, they were just told that Luffy was going to come back. And now they know for sure, definitely still alive.
Yeah, this is him coming back.
Indeed. And in style, too. So I imagine we'll get a morale boost.
Oh, yeah. Especially when he passes Law and Kid. Definitely looking his best right there.
Oh, yes. Speaking of that, they go crashing out of the live floor, straight up through the second floor, past where Law, Kid, and Big Mom are having their tussle. Glad to see not much has happened there in the amount of time that we've been away from it. But no one looks worse for wear, so guess they're doing all right. Even if Kid is theoretically still taking killer damage. Or not killer, the other one, Hawkins.
There's a lot to account for here.
Quite. I'm sure we'll get a reasonable view of things sooner rather than later. I would imagine this will be like the second to last thing that is wrapped up, probably.
The Big Mom thing?
Mm-hmm. Or maybe like side by side.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Luffy truly begging Momonosuke to open his eyes. But oh no. Not only was he unable to before because he was scared, now he physically can't because there is stuff in it. So
I'm surprised Luffy hasn't reached down and opened them himself.
Indeed. He's been focusing on holding on for dear life up until now.
Just wrap your legs around the horns and reach on down. It'll be fine, man.
No doubt. Easy peasy. Crashing through the third floor this time. Been a whole mess going on in this dang island. Poor Kaido. The repair bill is going to be through the roof.
No kidding.
Crashing through a few more places. Everybody's freaking out about it. Kaido here even comments, that dang Lin gonna have to rebuild the whole castle before seeing behind Yamato a paint dragon yelling ah, soaring through the sky.
I'm amazed his only reaction is,
That sure is odd. What on earth is going on over there? It's not even that serious. Just that's a thing.
Yeah, no worry, no urgency, nothing. And he pays the price because of it.
Oh yes. So while that's happening, Yamato, back in human form, or ogre form, I guess, unclear, charging up a new attack, while Momonosuke and Luffy finally getting their shit back together, planning a charge. Luffy goes into gear fourth for a hot second, throws a big ol' gum jet culverin at the same time that Yamato launches the white serpent attack, and they both hit Kaido square in his smug ogre face. Feels good.
It's quite the impact.
Kaido falls down, Yamato realizes that Luffy is there, and in the 1 second between those two things, Luffy is no longer in gear fourth anymore. So I guess he's gotten some serious control over that in the little bit since he's last fought this guy.
He popped in, popped out, no problem. If he has that much control, I feel like that could change some things. It'll give him some more lasting power.
Yeah, pretty much. If he gets to take a break between gear fourth uses, I would imagine that the not being able to use Haki for 10 minutes or whatever downfall would not be quite as serious.
Conserve your energy type deal.
Yeah. So, good for you, Luffy. Pleased about it. He gets Not backwards, though. Kaido, that is. And while doing so, decides to transform back into his full-fledged dragon form. Takes a peek at the similarly sized pink dragon there in front of him. Scares the ever-loving heck out of said pink dragon.
Yeah, Momo definitely regrets opening his eyes, even though it's the only thing that let them get this far. But, ooh, he's taking some second guesses here.
Poor Momo. I mean, all that's changed is his body has gotten bigger. On the inside, he's still a tiny baby boy. So, props to him for being able to stand up to this man in the first place. And Luffy looking real cool.
I expect Momo won't stay in dragon form long, but we'll see what happens, I guess.
I think they're going to fight a little bit in like their dragon forms, I would think.
Maybe. I wouldn't if I was Momo, is all that I'm saying. I wouldn't want to be this giant target in an inexperienced form against a dude that has mastered this dragon. Like, I would become small and be like, okay, Luffy, you take it from here.
All right, did my job. See you later.
Basically, like, I'll go help someone else. You said you got this. Bye. I'll catch you if you fall.
Try to, at least. It's hard to
Yeah.
fly with your eyes closed, but it's the only way to do it.
Yeah, I'll be practicing flying over there.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like Kaido's going to let that happen. He seems to be holding a grudge over this whole two dragons type deal. So that's fun. That's exciting. That he's like taking it personally.
I would imagine it goes a little deeper than just two dragons, but yeah, he has latched onto that bit.
Momonosuke does transform back into his human form that we assume looks like Odin. We've got to get the Eneru face off of Kaido, right?
I hope so. I really hope so. We could get it from Kaido and maybe Yamato as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yamato was there at the execution, so maybe from Yamato is more likely. It's hard to imagine, like, stoic, dead-faced Kaido making that face, but it was also hard to imagine that when Eneru did it, so, I don't know.
It's a little easier for me to imagine it with Kaido just because I want it so bad at this point. But, God, I want it to be official.
I kind of want him to do it in the dragon form.
Oh, I hadn't considered that.
That might be fun.
That would be very fun. A little bit scarier, but still fun.
Indeed. Yamato makes the remark, a pink dragon? Could it be? Luffy makes his classic remark, you're not going to kill me. I'm going to be king of the pirates. And Momonosuke standing up there with probably two of the top 10 strongest guys, if not top 5, maybe, in the One Piece universe. I'm not scared of you. I am Kozuki Momonosuke. I'm going to be the Shogun of Wano. Wow. Brave.
I mean, Kaido was just talking about bloodline. He has to respect him for that, if nothing else.
Yeah, we had a very similar interaction with him and Momonosuke when he was about to be executed on the live floor. And Kaido's not one to shy away from showing respect when he feels like somebody earns it.
He's such a weird but interesting villain in that way. I guess it kind of happens when you don't get many rivals, right? Like you kind of latch onto the ones that you do get.
Yeah, that's true. Showed props to Odin, Luffy a little bit. Momonosuke has impressed him a couple times. I think he was even talking up the Red Scabbards a little bit during their fight.
And kind of Yamato, too.
In between all the trash talk and...
Oh, of course. He can trash talk with the rest of them. But it's a good balance. I like Kaido as a villain. He's finally paying off after so long. And this will be one to remember for quite some time.
Can't wait for that inevitable full-fledged Kaido flashback pre-rocks or whatever. I just noticed that Momonosuke only has one set of horns.
I was looking at that while we were talking. I was trying to compare the two because his one set has like 3 points, whereas Kaido has one set with 2 and one set with 1.
I wonder if that has anything to do with Kaido's potential ogre status, because that bottom set of horns looks a lot like what he has in his human form.
Okay. Yep.
This has been Horn Watch with Thomas and Jordan. And unless you have something else to say on the new chapter, I think we'll go ahead and jump into the reread segment. Hooray.
All right. We're doing chapters 313 to 322. We're here in basically the start of the third and final Davy Back fight, where we have a trickster magician against a Rock'em Sock'em robot, basically.
A Rock'em Sock'em robot with an afro.
Yeah, it's all the power you need.
Indeed.
And yeah, the Foxy Pirates, as they are wont to do, force the battlefield to be on their ship to put everything in their favor. That's great.
Naturally. Why wouldn't they? They didn't even, try to hide that's what they were doing, either.
No. And this was also after they had complained about, oh no, you can't take the captain.
They say that wouldn't be explicitly cheating, but it sure would be uncool of you to do that.
This thing that we're doing, which is cheating, totally cool.
That's right. But I do really like that the only reason they decide to not go the uncool route is because they don't want Foxy to join their crew. Fair enough.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. A good moment where they're just like, oh, no.
As good a reason as any, that's for sure.
So we kind of bounce about the ship during this fight, especially at the start, where we're learning a bit more about Foxy's innovative use of his power. And Luffy kind of struggles, but he keeps up for the most part. At least until he gets put up against the Gorilla Puncher 13.
The even bigger Rock'em Sock'em robot.
Yeah.
With the gorilla head.
Yeah, it's a bunch of them just fused together.
Indeed.
And in that one, we first learn about the reflective properties of the Slowpoke beams, which, props to Luffy for dodging everything in there. There is so much going on, and the angles would be it'd be too much. It's amazing.
Especially as the thing is getting closer and closer, and he's got less and less space with which to dodge. Well done.
And this is all still fresh to him. He's learning on the fly. It's pretty good. He also has been tricked a few times, so...
Quite a few times.
He's probably pretty frustrated.
It's rough out there for Luffy's.
It was for quite some time.
It's truly amazing to me that Foxy's ship, the Setsi Foxy, has any space for living quarters, considering all the crap they have stuffed in that ship.
Yeah, there was a whole, gun deck. Here's where we just keep all of our weapons. Hope no one needs a bed.
We have a, conveyor belt corridor that just kind of deposits people outside the ship. That's useful for everyday use.
That's where they put their trash, I'm sure, right?
I would. I mean, if I were to litter in the ocean, I would never do that. But if I were a bad man like Foxy.
Yeah. Speaking of the bad boy Foxy, he shows off some very impressive maneuvers in this whole combat round.
Please, explain to me how Foxy beats Crocodile, as I assume you're going to. Go ahead.
How Foxy beats Crocodile?
Yeah, you just said it yourself, so make it so.
What did I say? I said Foxy shows off some impressive maneuvers.
That's the same thing, Jordan.
What? Okay, yeah, wait, no, you got me. Now that I think about it. I mean, he does flips onto cannonballs. He dodges things in the air. He's very acrobatic. He's got all sorts of skills that I never expected him to possess.
Yeah, he's had a lot of practice having similar battles, I'm sure. I would imagine Luffy's got to be, the toughest guy he's ever attempted to beat in this way. Clearly, he bit off a bit more than he could chew with this particular one. But
he's sweating bullets.
Yeah, but he was doing great for a while. He almost brought Luffy down.
Spiked gloves really give you a big advantage.
And the ability to slow people down real hardcore. But mostly the spiked gloves. And that weird mechanical fox thing that he shoved into Luffy's face.
Yeah, that little bear trap thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the amount of time and possibly money that goes into making bombs shaped like his face. This is a dedicated crew. This is all that they have, and they have perfected it to the point that they can, right?
And almost all of it paid off, at least a little bit.
Oh
Luffy
yeah.
falls for almost every single trick.
Yeah, it all connects in some way, and Luffy almost doesn't make it out of this. He is
Mm-hmm,
in
mm-hmm.
rough shape by the end, but
That's right.
he's technically saved by Usopp, so yay. Um, but regardless, I'm proud of Luffy for remembering the reflective property of the beams, considering everything else that has been going on. Like, he must be so frazzled, and also, I would, well, actually, I don't know how this works necessarily. It seems like when people are slowed by the beams, their mind is still working at like normal pace, normal speed. Is that correct?
That seems to be the case. If they were to try to like vocalize a thought, their mouth would put it out real slow. But yeah, I think their brain still moves.
He was able to think like, "Oh, I'm slowed."
Mm-hmm,
So,
mm-hmm.
okay. I mean, that might be more disorienting than if your mind was also slowed. I don't know how that makes sense, but at least there everything would be sort of together, whereas you're more discombobulated this way, at
Mm-hmm.
least in theory. But hey, Luffy does great. He pulls it off. He reflects the beam back onto Foxy and really just needs one hit with his, what is it? It's flail, I think. The flail
Mm-hmm.
move, which we only see here.
Quite so. Very, very specific use of this particular ability of Luffy's. Never to be seen again. I think it is fun that Nami is really talking down the Afro through the entire fight. Almost everyone else is really hyping it up. In the end, the Afro does help him achieve victory.
It
So,
sure does.
joke's on you, Nami.
I think even Robin says, like, he looks good in it or something along those
Mm-hmm.
lines.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nami just doesn't know how to play along. And if she would have been in that ring, she would have been screwed.
That's right. No Afro, no victory. Usopp says it himself. It's been a mystery throughout all of time whether or not champions wear afros or afros wear champions. Modern science has no answer. And you know what? I can't argue. He's just
I'm
right.
not going to try to figure it out. Gathering the data on that sounds dangerous.
Indeed. But good for you, Luffy. You made it happen. Amazing to me that you managed to defeat a master of disguise such as Foxy. But you pulled it off, my guy. Proud of you.
So, like, it's tough to say, but Foxy and Luffy actually have a fair amount in common. Neither of them are necessarily the smartest or have the best devil fruit, but they're definitely making the most of it. On top of that, despite Foxy being an idiot, a weirdo, and a stealer of crew members, he seems to have a similar draw to him as Luffy does. Like, his crew, even though they were once loyal to another captain and he literally took them, they would still risk their lives for him for some reason.
That's true. We got a head shaped like that. Makes you very charismatic, I guess.
Like, is he threatening them? What's going on?
I don't know. I mean, even like the like frog head pirates or whatever the guys are that they just beat like 2 days prior, they were all on board the Foxy train when we saw them. So I don't know.
Right.
I guess he just treats them well.
It's not like these are all super fickle people that are just willing to jump ship at any moment. The only person that we see upset by it is Chopper, which makes sense, of course. But like, I don't know, maybe the rules are just held to. Maybe people just don't mess with Davy back fights.
Yeah. Don't want to piss off Davy Jones, man.
I wouldn't, yeah.
He's a scary guy. We've seen his boat much later on. It's very large, very ghostly. So it's all just give the man a pass, I suppose.
Yeah, let's take it easy here. So I have a hypothetical to pose to you.
Okay.
Do you think Foxy and Buggy would be friends?
Oh, I think they would be, but each of them would be trying to backstab the other constantly.
Yeah, they'd be like best friends, but they would never get anything done, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I think it would
Oh
be
man.
amazing. And if they if they could get their stuff together, they'd probably be a decent combo. But I'm glad you agree cuz I had to go down this path in my own head.
I can see it now. Whoever is sent after Buggy in the modern era, after the warlord system's been abolished, they shoot a cannonball or something at his circus tent island. But who is there to intercept it but the man himself, Foxy the Silver Fox, with the classic slow, slow beam, giving Buggy just enough time to escape with his life, and from then on, the best of pals. They go on to become the Pirate Kings.
Yeah, they team up, they take out Luffy and the Straw Hats, and that's the end of the series.
Yep, they swoop in, they stab Kaido through the heart easily using a floaty hand knife slow, slow beam combo. They take out Big Mom with a special muddy ball and just go on to solo the rest of the verse.
Pretty much, yeah. I think Buggy just kind of carries around Foxy sort of on his back. He's shooting
Yeah.
beams left and right, and they're untouchable.
I think we just solved One Piece. Well done.
That's
Well
why
done,
people
us.
listen to us. We give them the cold, hard facts.
Yeah, that's right.
Anyway, back to the story at hand.
Yeah. The real cold hard facts.
After the Davy Back fight completes, we run into our new friend, Aokiji.
And what a friend he is.
Yeah, boy howdy. He real quick shows off his powers to us in a really flashy, fun way. The most observant Sea King in all of the oceans pops out for 1 second just before being turned into a Sea Kingsicle.
Yeah, and perhaps even more impressively than just freezing a Sea King. This really went over my head the first time I read this years ago, but the sheer scale of how Aokiji uses his power here.
Yep.
They're trying to get to the third island away from where they currently are. And we can't see it from where they are
You
right
can't even
now.
see the second island, I don't think.
Yeah, exactly. You can't see the next island from where they currently are. And Nami has no confidence in their ability to sail to that next island because the log pose won't lock onto it, right? So it has to be a considerable distance away, each one. And Aokiji freezes all the way to that third island and deep enough for it to be frozen for an entire week.
Yeah.
That's bananas. That's crazy.
It's incredible. This man is terrifying. And he further proves it when he decides that the Straw Hat crew is actually a bit too dangerous to be left unchecked.
Indeed. One quick thing before that, though.
Okay.
Do you think he also froze the islands in between? Or
I would imagine that he is good enough to craft it around it.
even when he can't see it and it's like miles and miles away?
Yeah.
That's got to be some crazy hockey on that man, too, then.
I would hope so for one of the 3 admirals. You kidding me?
It's so big. It's so much distance. Good lord.
I think this dude he's up there as someone that just should be feared in this world. He's powerful. He's kind of now he's kind of a free agent almost. Like,
Yeah, kind of.
he has a sense of morality to him, which is neat.
All I'm saying is that I would not like to meet this man in a dark alley if I were a criminal. So
You wouldn't even get a chance to meet him. You'd be dead.
Yeah.
You'd be frozen and done.
I'd be frozen miles away. That's right.
Yeah. He's Eneru but with ice. Come on.
It's a true nightmare.
Again, we're making some assumptions, but yeah.
But yeah, he decides that the Straw Hat crew actually don't get to live. Real fickle man, unfortunately for our boys. And he does something about it. He certainly does.
Decides to flash freeze Robin, which leads to a actually really heartwarming sequence of people in the crew basically, swapping off saving Robin from him.
That's right. A heartwarming sequence of them literally trying to warm her heart.
Yes.
Well done.
Well, that's later, but yeah. But I think that this one sequence kind of foreshadows Enies Lobby pretty darn well. Everyone has to give it their all to save her, and I like it.
Yeah, they all kind of put their own special skills to use. Zoro blots the sword slash. Sanji swoops in, disarms him with a big ol' kick to said sword. And Usopp runs fast, so that's what he does.
For once, yeah.
Yeah.
But he also he's delicate because he knows that if he were to like grab her too hard or stop too quickly, she'd probably break and die.
No good. No good if that stuff happens. Well done, Usopp.
Yeah. Eventually, the crew takes Robin away, and Luffy goes one-on-one with Aokiji. Not much of a fight. But thankfully, Luffy took out Crocodile, and Aokiji's at least somewhat of an honorable man. So he spares him. I don't know personally if there's like some specific grudge between Aokiji and Crocodile, or if like he was assigned to take care of him himself and was just too lazy to do it. But no matter what, it's real good it happened.
Well, the world government didn't know that Crocodile was being a bad boy until after he had already been stopped by Luffy and co. And we haven't been told of any particular beef between Aokiji and Crocodile. So I would just assume that he was just doing a general favor.
Yeah, it's a little weird. I kind of wish there was something else behind that. But
there was also the thing with Luffy's grandpa. He owed him one.
Yeah, I was going to say Aokiji teases out some information on Garp, but we don't really get the good stuff here. But you're right. That's probably another reason for him to take it easy on the guy. Mm-hmm. So yeah, he eventually lets him go, even though he's also flash frozen. But that's okay. They know what they're doing because they started dealing with Robin already. Mm-hmm. And then as they're sort of recuperating on the ship, we get another classic cool guy Zoro situation, at least in my opinion. After they've heard that Robin and Luffy are gonna de-ice and be just fine, Usopp kind of slumps down and looks all depressed and expresses his concerns with not being able to do anything against enemies of this power. And Zoro calls him just kind of a tired idiot. On the surface, it doesn't seem all that uplifting or nice, but Zoro knows that they all did what they needed to do to save Robin, and he's respecting Usopp for it, and I really dig that.
I like that a lot, too. It is unfortunate that I guess Usopp doesn't really take those words to heart, because that seed of like inferiority goes on to cause the root of his conflict with Luffy in the arc to come.
But, like, on top of that, like, not to get ahead of ourselves, but like even then Zoro still holds the same respect for Usopp that he always has had, and like Luffy does too, and there's all these parallels. It's pretty great.
Indeed, I like it a lot.
Still sad that it happened, but man, does it make for a good story.
No doubt.
Yeah, after they're, done the recuperating process, the crew continues on, and they meet a frog, a child, a granny, and a cat, which leads almost directly into Water 7, which I figure we'll cover in our next episode.
Yes. I remember fondly that time the Mary was chasing a frog, swimming like a human, almost got hit by a train. Then that same frog tries to fight that same train. That's classic One Piece right there. That's the stuff people remember.
Oh, yeah. Anytime I can see a frog get blasted off like Team Rocket, I'm in a good place.
Indeed. Classic sumo frog. Feels good.
And we get to learn a lot more about him later. What is his name? I didn't write it down.
Yokozuna.
Yokozuna. Yeah. Pretty cool frog, turns out.
Quite so. I'm sure we'll talk about him again one day.
Oh, for sure.
But I guess I will go into my little list of gags, most of which took place during the Foxy fight. Feels good. First up is almost every single Foxy pirate worrying that they'll be the one to be chosen at the end of the groggy ring right off the bat.
They want me, right?
Yeah. Gotta freak out about it a little bit. I understand. They're all so desirable.
I think most people would want to leave the Foxy crew for the Straw Hats. They just, well, actually, I don't know. I was going to say they seem like they have more fun, but I bet the Foxy crew knows how to party.
Yeah, we know that to be true. They throw like a whole festival every time they have one of these things.
Well, yeah, but that's kind of fake. But I guess the same skills transfer. I don't know. They seem to be living that fake lifestyle anyway, so.
Fake or not, I'm sure the food is still delicious.
Yeah, yeah.
Let's see here. You covered this a little bit before, but the gag that always really gets me through the fight with all his little tricks is how he slid his own head into the line of bombs shaped like his face. And it works.
I think that one stands out to me, especially from the anime, because I want to say that those bombs, like, kind of bob up and down as they go. And he kind of moves with them pretty well and just adds to that gag. And it's pretty good.
Quite so. I imagine it takes a great deal of practice to pull that off. But
he's got the time.
yeah,
I'm sure it entertains the crewmates as well, right?
Oh, yes. And then he almost immediately gets himself blown up by those bombs. So that's embarrassing for him. Everyone's freaking out. Oh no, Luffy's gotten. He's dead. But no, it was Foxy the whole time. Luffy also insulting Foxy to make him reveal himself among the smoke silhouettes.
I love that one. That'll get me every time.
Works every time. That's the classic Luffy technique. Better to work on Crocodile if they ever get a rematch.
I don't even think that Luffy, like, did that consciously, right? Like, it has been shown that he just insults this man at the drop of a hat.
It's like breathing to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Poor Foxy. But he's such an easy target, man.
He sure is.
Poor guy. Luffy falling for the old Foxy, a master of the skies trick twice.
I can't believe it worked twice.
Oh, man.
Are you his sister?
Oh, man. I can't believe it. Poor Luffy. He's got a small brain, but we love him anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And then right at the end of that conflict, the longer you look at Luffy's new Foxy pirate, Jolly Roger, the more terrible it appears.
It sure does. I bounced back and forth between the two for quite some time, just wallowing in it.
Oh, no. Just such a nightmare. I mean, you think back to when he drew his own Jolly Roger on the side of Laboon's head. And, you know, that looked pretty bad. Fair enough. But this is a whole new level of terrible, terrible Luffy art that I can't get enough of. But that is the last of my dads, and as per usual, we covered all of my nonsense as we went through.
Yeah, we're really good at this.
Well done, us. Champions of everything. You heard it here first.
And well done, you the listener, for making it to the end.
Yeah. Proud of you in particular. Tim.
Oh, no. Oh, you gotta single out Tim, huh?
Special shout out to Tim this week. But I think that does it for us this week. There does appear, so there's a break next week. A bummer for sure, but Oda needs his breaks, and he spoiled us for the past month.
Oh, yeah.
No new chapter until September 25th. Feel free to send in your thoughts on the new chapter via email to inheritedwillpodcasts@gmail.com, on Twitter to inherited_will, or simply in a comment on the YouTube video. As always, thanks for listening.
Thanks, y'all.